Hi, Renan. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to discuss this with you today. If you'd just like to start by introducing yourself, please.
Of course, my name is Renan Hallak. I'm founder and CEO of Vast Data.
Thank you. So, let's kick things off by talking about architecting trust. Firstly, how does your partnership redefine what AI sovereignty means for a digital nation like the UAE?
So I think everybody wants to have sovereign AI capabilities. It's a combination of things. Nobody wants to depend on other countries for this new and exciting and powerful technology. Um, Not just for military purposes, but also for commercial and cultural reasons. Everybody wants to have this ability in-house. Specifically in the UAE, we're seeing that they're leapfrogging over many other countries in the speed and determination of building these abilities. And Core 42 has been a really, really good partner for us to enable that over the last few years.
Thank you. Now, obviously, we're talking about governments here. So, how do you think they both scale and control, or need to scale and control, mobility of data, but without loss of sovereignty? How are VAST and Core 42 solving this paradox in practice?
So some data is very, very sensitive and needs to be kept within the country. Other projects require collaboration between countries and between countries and private organizations. And I think having very fine-grained ability to control and observe and reproduce, that's the way to solve that paradox. You want to be able to say that this data can be shared with that organization, this data can be shared with that organization, and this data cannot be shared with anyone. You want the ability to observe who is accessing what and what is happening underneath the covers. And you want the ability to reproduce why certain responses are given by the AI systems over time. All of those controls need to be put in place for a sovereign practice to be effective.
So, what do you think are the principles behind building an architecture of trust that lets governments share, analyze, and act on data securely at scale?
I think transparency is key in how they build it together and what is shared and what is not shared, and the fact that each one of these governments has varying interests, but at the end of the day, they do want to cooperate in order to build together and to learn from each other. Um, I've seen that happen extremely well in the UAE. They have a very, very good understanding of what their strengths are and where they would like to partner and what they would like to keep in-house within the country and where it makes more sense to collaborate with other countries. Not all countries are doing that as well as the UAE is.
That's an interesting point. How should governments think about embedding national values into sovereign AI systems so that sovereignty is not just technical, but also cultural and ethical?
I think as AI progresses, that question is becoming more and more interesting because, at least so far, AI has been built by a few very large organizations, whether it's OpenAI or xAI or the big companies out of the US, and everybody else has basically used those models rather than built their own. What we're starting to see now is that various countries are building their own models and everybody is starting to fine tune on top of these foundational models, which gives us an opportunity to inject different types of values and cultural norms into these more specific AIs that are getting built. And I think that's a big reason why various countries want to have sovereign AI capabilities because we want our AI to interact with us in the way our neighbor would. And so it means in our language, it means understanding our cultural nuances, it means having the values that we have that, of course, are different in different parts of the world. Um, that is really, really an exciting part of the next phase of AI, making it more specific and more customized than it is today.
Thank you. So, how do you think governments then balance the urgency to act with the patience required for technologies to mature?
I think it depends on where you look in the world. Some governments are too patient in the sense that they're not acting fast enough. Other governments are very, very reactive to what's happening and acting extremely fast. I would put UAE in that second category of acting quickly and taking advantage of these new technologies faster than many other places around the world. I personally think that's the right way to do it because even if not everything is fully mature and not all of the functionality is there yet, the fact that you start early means that your population gets used to these new technologies, that they understand them, that it gets embedded within your country. And as things change, you can change with them. But waiting, I think, is not a good strategy because this is moving very, very, very quickly, and anybody who waits too long, I think, will be left behind.
Yeah, that's something that is a common thread throughout this, evolving modern world that we're a part of and digitalization. You have to kind of get on the bandwagon or or get left behind. So what does sovereignty mean when AI begins to not just replicate human work, but actually generates new knowledge that can shift national power?
So that's another really, really interesting thing that is just starting. I think so far AI has been really good at parroting back to us things that maybe we didn't know, but somebody knew. Existing information, it takes and it analyzes and it structures in a very easy way for us to consume. We have not seen yet AI come up with new ideas and create new action plans and new build new things that didn't exist before. I think we're on the precipice of that happening. There are a few things that need to happen before that for it to be possible. One of them is having separate AIs with separate fine-tuned models of the universe, because I think having multiple intelligences and then having them interact with each other is the way that we as humans create new ideas. And I think that's the way that AI will start creating new ideas. And then I think it makes the previous question about values even more important because as it starts to forge a path of its own, we need to make sure that it's going in the direction that we want it to go. And the best way to do that is by instilling these AIs with our values such that they take these new discoveries in the right direction. The other way, of course, is by monitoring them and observing what they're doing and making sure that they're not going in a direction that we don't like. But both of those are things that will take us to the next level once we have these AIs solving hard problems for us. As with any technological revolution, these things tend to grow exponentially, and hopefully very soon they will be improving our quality of life as a result.
Mm, let's hope so. So what do you think government workforces need to look like in the age of sovereign AI agents?
Very, very different than they do today. Many people say that only senior people, very, very experienced people, will have a place in the new workforce. I think that's wrong. I think the people who know how to use AI will be the ones that will have prominent positions, and those will tend to be the younger generation who are more open to using new technologies and are still in their learning phase. Um, those people of that younger generation will have a lot more impact, will have a much higher productivity than what we had in the previous generation. because every single one of them will be managing a team of agents and will be instructing that team of agents as to what needs to get done rather than doing all of the work themselves. And so I think we will be a lot more efficient. We will be a lot more effective. We will be a lot more productive. Um, I don't think we will need less people. I think we will just get a lot more done. And people, the type of work that we do will shift from more writing to more reading, from more proving to more verifying. The AIs will do the grunt work, and we will need to orchestrate and direct them. Such that they do the type of work that we want them to.
Mhm. I mean, that's quite a reassuring belief. Like I said, let's hope that that will be the case. So, looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for how sovereign AI will shape national competitiveness and power in the Gulf?
I think AI will change everything. I've been, in fact, trying to think of things where it will not have an impact, and I haven't come up with much so far. Originally, we thought AI will impact white collar jobs like lawyers and developers, software developers and accountants. But with physical robots that we're seeing, especially in the Gulf region, actually advancing much faster than in other places. We met last when we were at GITEX. We were observing all kinds of autonomous driving vehicles and flying cars and drones and humanoid robots that were eerily human in their appearance. All of that is going to mean that AI and AI agents, as they become smarter and more capable, will operate in the natural world, in the physical world. We will have AI gardeners and AI construction workers and AI carpenters and AI everything. And so I think the fact that the Gulf region and UAE in particular are so far ahead of the curve on all of these things than the rest of the world is an opportunity for this region to redefine itself and to become a very, very central force. And I think with that comes a lot of power over time. Um, that is not in any way commensurate with number of people or with the old metrics that we had before AI. And so it's an opportunity for the world order to be redone. And I think the UAE is in an amazing position uh, to amass a lot more relevance and impact and power through these new technologies.